Paul McQuade, and welcome to Roaring Back. Now here we are in quite possibly the most famous place on the entire planet, Times Square, Broadway, the Great White Way. Originally called Longacre Square after London's historic carriage district, it was later renamed Times Square in 1904 when the New York Times constructed One Times Square. Shortly after that, electricity arrived in the form of theater advertisements and streetlights, which transformed the neighborhood and public places into a safer environment, for the time being. The Great Depression came and really hampered the neighborhood's growth, just like a lot of other places. Many of the theaters were forced to close, and some resorted to showing sexually explicit content. And that reputation lasted for about a half a century. In 1981, Rolling Stone called West 42nd Street the sleaziest block in America. But despite its reputation, Times Square was able to maintain its powerful symbolism, which makes total sense, because I mean, look around. By the late 1990s, Times Square really started to get cleaned up, and it's been roaring back ever since. Times Square was disproportionately affected by COVID, as some of the other parts of the city, due to its heavy reliance on tourism. So as the pandemic really rolled on, Broadway decided to shut down early, which was the right thing to do. But now, we are back, baby. Whether you're coming in from out of town or you're a native New Yorker, there's loads to do. First, grab a bite at All'Antico Vinaio, the famed sandwich shop from Florence, Italy, whose first US outpost is worth the wait. After that, catch one of the greatest shows in the world, whether it be Wicked, Hamilton if you can get a ticket, or even Lion King with the fam. After that, if you want some dinner, there's Dear Irving on Hudson, which is at the Alice Hotel, or I also like the chemistry room at Sushi Lab. Now, when it comes to nightlife, the history here is unmatched, like the iconic Studio 54. But today, one of the hottest new clubs on the planet has just opened up, called Nebula. So should we check it out? Should we check it out? Let's go check it out. Before we head to Nebula, I figured it's so cold outside, we might as well come in and warm up with a nice cold pint. So, cheers. Really interesting and so good to see the neighborhood lively again and people back here and packing the bars. And during COVID, it was pretty empty here. We spoke about the reliance on tourism, but I had a listing about 2 blocks down. And when you get a new listing, typically what you'll want to do is, besides the obvious of you go measure the space, see what's going on, what does it look like, all the great things. You really want to see what's going on in the neighborhood to see what type of concept would fit there, and who can actually thrive, and especially in a neighborhood like this where rents are pretty damn high, and so you want to make sure that you're not putting anyone out and putting them in a space where they can't not only survive but also thrive. So when we did it with this listing, last summer, it was tough because you go around and you want to see who's really thriving, and it was empty. There was no one really around, and so to get a good feeling of the concept and all the different things, it was challenging because we didn't, you kind of were like, okay, well, I know that this would work, and you have to really draw on the past to say, of the neighborhood and your knowledge of the city, and so. That was something that was a new one for me. Pro tip, whether it be real estate or you're gonna buy a house or a neighborhood, or, in a neighborhood, before you do anything, if you really wanna know about the neighborhood, go next door to the closest bar and talk to the bartender and ask them whatever question you want. Because as many of you know, bartenders are also half therapists. They can tell you about the different spot, why maybe a bar you wanted to lease next door didn't do well, and all the different things you really want to know and present to your client or yourself, and just to know before you make a really big investment. So I wanted to do that here, and this is one of my funnier stories, I think, out of COVID. So I want to do that here. We're walking, and we finally found a pub. And so this was really when COVID was first rolling on, and people really didn't know how to react. And as some people know, if you're in the industry, restaurant and bar owners got a little creative with their hand sanitizer concoctions. And we walked in, it was about 11 a.m., it was midday, and I pumped this hand sanitizer and went and smelled it. And anyone who's ever drinking tequila the night before, the next morning, the last thing you ever want to smell is tequila. And my man mixed a mixture of some tequila, gel, whatever he had, and I pumped it and got so ill that it was absurd. And all my coworkers were laughing and they had a blast with it, and now it's hilarious to think about. But it was just one of those, such a COVID, unique thing. There's just a lot of things that have happened during COVID where, to look back and say, man, that was really, really unique, and I don't know if it'll ever happen to not only me or anyone ever again. So, I'm gonna drink this beer, and then we're gonna head over to Nebula and talk to Richie Romero. All right, we're here at Nebula, one of the hottest new clubs on the entire planet, with Richie Romero. Richie is one of the most quintessential New Yorkers, and if you've been operating in any type of capacity in New York City nightlife over the past, since I can remember, you know Richie. Richie, welcome, how are you?
Pretty good, how you doing, Paul?
I'm doing fantastic, thanks. I appreciate you taking the time.
Oh, anytime for you.
Perfect, I appreciate that. So, I think it's really great to bring Richie in for a couple reasons. Number one, you may remember in our first episode, Lower East Side, we reviewed Zazzy's, which is another one of Richie's concepts and some of the best pizza in the city. During the pandemic, Richie was someone who, when a lot of other people in New York City had a little bit of trepidation with the pandemic and what was gonna happen and what they were gonna go into to launch concepts, Richie not only doubled, he tripled and quadrupled down on New York City, and it's really, really amazing to see. So, Richie, can you tell us a little bit about what it was like opening concepts, both new and developing other ones you had during COVID?
Yeah, I'll be completely honest with you.
Perfect.
I have, what gave me motivation is I have COVID lockdown PTSD, I won't lie.
Okay.
Getting everything shut on me made me just have a drive in me that I've never had before, and I just want to keep opening concepts. I want to keep getting things. Originally, why I got into hospitality in general is that I like having an imprint on people's lives. I don't care if you're 5 years old or you're 7 years old. I like having an imprint on being, if it's someone's 21st birthday, their 50th anniversary, their engagement parties. I like knowing that, hey, I was imprinted on that person's life or those people's lives. So that's why the main reason I do it. But the main thing why I'm so active in during COVID really was because I never had everything taken away like that from me, and it gave me a motivation to really want to do something. And I still, the old cliche of New York, if you can make it here, you can make it anywhere. That's, going off that.
Yeah, wow, it's amazing. I know, from seeing it, to your point, and seeing these amazing birthday parties and some of your other concepts, Innocent Yesterday and Snob, and hottest new vegan bakery in the entire city. So it's really cool to see, kind of through the lens and the magic of social media, I can see you really accomplishing these goals. So speaking of new concepts, this place is absolutely incredible and wild, especially being here. We think we talked about it a little bit earlier, whenever you're in these amazing venues in this capacity, it's different. I'll be sure to remember this when I'm here at nighttime and remember it. But can you tell us a little bit about what went into the build out and what the vibe you were looking to create was?
So during the pandemic, I met Yang, who's the main owner, my partner. I'm the managing partner here for him. He had a vision, what he wanted to do, and I loved the whole idea of it, and I actually wanted to be like I joke around, an expediter of dreams and make these dreams and vision come to fruition. So, great partnership to work with, and we made it happen. And it's, the lights, the video, the production. I haven't had chills like this. I've been in this game a long time. In New York, I haven't had chills like this since the Palladium, which really dates me and ages me. And in the country, the only other place that gave me chills that I get here is Omnia in Las Vegas.
Yep.
Those are two places when I first went in, I got those goosebumps, and this place gives me goosebumps. It's, I've never seen video, we have moving video pods from the ceiling. Our ceiling moves up and down. The LEDs, it's just an incredible landscape of everything, of visuals and audio and video that, I've never seen, especially in New York.
The entire, I want to keep saying vibe, but just for people to be able to say, and this is an amazing, you can kind of look at the different pieces of it, whether it be visuals, panels, the sound system's amazing, and I like really the way that it's laid out, where people can really interact with each other, which is amazing.
We wanted to do like a hybrid too, making it that you could have the big club dance experience and music experience, but you also have the high-end table service experience. So pretty much got that mix of a hybrid. So you're a dance club plus you're a bottle service club.
I mean, this place is so enormous and big. There's got to be some other little hidden gems for us to check out.
We're going to unveil for the beginning of next year, ready by probably Fashion Week. We have 3 club rooms, which is the concept of PDR, which is private dining rooms. We have PCR, which is private club rooms. So each room, we have 3 rooms. They have their own sound system, own light systems, own private bathrooms, heated seats, the works. It's definitely going to be something to talk about, especially if people during COVID and everything, you're still kind of nervous. Hey, you don't want to be in big crowds. You can kind of do your own thing, anywhere from 5 people to 30 people in the room. Yeah, so it's pretty impressive, and it's going to blow some minds.
Wow, that's amazing. I mean, you sold me on private club room for sure. Can we go check something out?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it. Wow, what an amazing day taking you guys through Times Square. We touched on everything from my experience working through a pandemic in the busiest place in the world, then touched on some of the food and nightlife there is here also. And man, what an incredible sit down with Richie Romero at Nebula. Such a great spot to wrap up this season, where the ball drops and the entire globe rings in a new year. New York City is truly a magical place, where the energy of each neighborhood together creates the fabric of this great city. I can't tell you how much I appreciate you all coming on this journey with me. It's been an absolute blast, and I hope you enjoyed it too. Thanks for stopping by. Have a great holiday season, and I'll see you next year on Roaring Back.